Hi friends, welcome to Talent Sprint's Banker's Choice program. In this session, we are going to discuss ranking, or it is also known as ordering. In this topic, we are supposed to arrange a given set of people in a particular order, that is ascending or descending order based on their weight, height, age, etc. To solve the various questions from this topic, we first need to understand some basic concepts. So let us understand the points which are important to solve the questions from this topic. Let us now discuss model 1, where we can find out the total number of persons in a row when we know the position of one particular person from both the ends. Let's say in a row of persons, if the position of a particular person is R from the right end and L from the left end, then the total number of persons in that row will be equal to R plus L minus 1, where R is the position of the person from right end and L is the position from the left end. That means whenever we know the position of one particular person from both the ends of the row, the total number of persons can be calculated as R plus L minus 1. Similarly, let us assume that a group of persons have been ranked from top to bottom. Here, when we know the rank of one particular person from the top end as well as the bottom end, then the total number of persons in that group can be taken as the rank of the person from top end plus the rank of the person from the bottom end minus 1. That means we can always find out the total number of persons in a group, whether they are arranged in a row or column, if we know the position of one particular person from both the ends. Let's now take an example based on this model. The given question here is Rahul ranked 9th from top and 38th from bottom in a class. What is the total number of students in the class? As we have already learned, we can find out the total number of students when we know the position or rank of a person from both the ends. Now, as given in the question, the rank of Rahul from the top end is 9 and from the bottom end is 38. So we can say that the total number of students in the class would be equal to the rank from top, that is 9, plus the rank from bottom, that is 38 minus 1, which comes out to be 46. Therefore, the total number of students in the class is 46. Let us now understand the second model, where we can find out the position of a person from the other end when his position is given from one of the ends. The point here is, in a row or queue of total P persons, if the position of a person is P from one of the ends, then his position from the other end will be P minus P plus 1, where P is the total number of persons, P is the position from one of the ends. That means for any given row or queue, if we know the position of one of the persons from one of the ends and the total number of persons, then the position from the other end can always be taken as total minus the position from one of the ends plus 1. Let's now take an example based on this point. The given question here is, in a class of 36 students, Ravi's rank from the top is 12. Radhika ranks 3 places above Ravi. So what is Radhika's rank from the bottom? That means here we are supposed to find out Radhika's rank from the bottom end of a class which has 36 students. As we have already learned, we can find out the rank from the other end, that is the bottom end in this case, only if we know the rank from the top end. So let us first try to find out what would be Radhika's rank from the top end. As given in the question, Ravi's rank from the top is 12 and Radhika ranks 3 places above Ravi. So it is obvious that Radhika's rank from the top end would be 12 minus 3, that is 9. And now we can find out Radhika's rank from the bottom end as follows. So Radhika's rank from the bottom end would be the total number of persons, that is 36, minus the rank from the top end, that is 9 plus 1, which comes out to be 28. So we can say that Radhika's rank from the bottom end in this class would be 28. So this is how we can use the second model in finding out the position of a person from the other end when we know the position from one of the ends. Let us now discuss the model 3, where we are supposed to find out the total number of persons in a row when the positions of two persons from two different ends is given to us. If you remember, in model number 1 as well, we have learned how to find out the total number of persons in a row. But the difference between model number 1 and model number 3 is, in model 1, the positions of the same person from two different ends were given to us. But if you observe here, the positions of two different persons from two different ends will be specified. So let us understand how to find out the total number of persons in this case. The point here is, in a row of persons, if the positions of A and B from the left end and the right end are L and R respectively, and there are n persons between A and B, then the total number of persons in that row will be given as follows. Here, two answers are possible. Let us understand both of them. In the first case, let us take the left end, the right end, and the positions of A and B as shown. As given in the question, the position of A from the left end is L. The position of B from the right end is R, and in between A and B we have n persons. So I can say that the total number of persons in the row are L plus N plus R. So that's how we get the total number of persons when A and B are positioned as shown. But as I've already mentioned, there is also a second case possible here. Let us look at that. In this case, the left end and right end are taken as shown, but the positions of A and B are interchanged. If you compare with the first case, A was closer to the left end, but in the second case, A is closer to the right end. Before we understand this, let me draw your attention to one important point in the given statement. If you observe, the given statement only mentions that the positions of A and B from left end and the right end are L and R respectively. But nowhere it has been mentioned that A is closer to the left end or A is closer to the right end. That is the reason we are considering both the possible cases here. So now if we come back to case number 2, A is closer to right end and B is closer to the left end, which is quite opposite when compared to case 1. Now as given, the position of A from the left end is L and the position of B from the right end is R. And let us assume there are n persons in between A and B. Now when we add L plus R in this case, the number of persons in between A and B have been counted twice. And as we need the total number of persons, each person has to be counted only once. So in order to justify that, let us subtract n from the total of L plus R. Also, the persons A and B have been taken twice in the sum of L plus R. So we also need to subtract the positions of A and B once from this sum. So subtracting the repeated count of A and B, that is 2, we can say that the total number of persons in this case will be L plus R minus of n plus 2. So friends, as you have seen, we have two possible answers for model number 3. The first answer would be L plus N plus R, and the second answer is L plus R minus of n plus 2. So how do we get to know which is the correct answer for this question in the exam? So the point here is, whenever such a statement is given to us, we can find out the total number of persons in two different ways. We need to find out both the possible answers, and whichever is available in the options has to be treated as the correct one. Otherwise the answer would be cannot be determined. Let us now take an example based on this point. The given question here is, P is 14th from the left end and Q is 7th from the right end in a row of boys. What is the total number of boys in the row if there are 4 boys between P and Q? And the given options are 25, 23, 21, 19 and 20. So as you can see, we are supposed to find out the total number of persons in this row. and the positions of P and Q from the left end and right end are given to us. As we have just learned, there are two possible answers for such a given case. The first answer here would be the position from the left end plus the position from the right end plus the number of persons in between the two persons. So by taking the values in the given question, the position of P from the left end is 14th plus the position of Q from the right end is 7, and we have 4 persons in between P and Q. So we can say that the total number of persons in that row can be 14 plus 7, 21 plus 4, 25. And the second possible answer here is L plus R minus of N plus 2, where again L and R are the positions from the left end and the right end for two different persons, and N is the number of persons in between the two persons. So by taking the given values, we get 14 plus 7 minus of 4 plus 2, which comes out to be 21 minus 6, that is 15. So the two possible answers for this given question are 25 or 15. And as we can see from the given options, the answer 15 is not available and 25 is given in option number 1. So we can say that the total number of persons in this row will be 25. But in case if both the answers are available in the options, then we need to look for that option which says the answer cannot be determined. Let us now take another example from ranking, where we are supposed to find out the total number of persons in the given row when two persons have interchanged their positions. Let us look at this question. In a row of boys, Deepak is 7th from the left end and Madhu is 12th from the right end. If they interchange their positions, Deepak becomes 22nd from the left end. What is the total number of boys in this row? So as given in the question, we know that Deepak is 7th from the left end and Madhu is 12th from the right end. But when they interchange their positions, Deepak becomes 22nd from left. As we can understand that when these two persons interchange their positions, Deepak's new position will be same as Madhu's old position, and Madhu's new position M dash can be taken same as Deepak's old position. Now the statement says if they interchange their positions, Deepak becomes 22nd from left. As we know that Deepak has come to Madhu's place, we can say that this new position is 22nd from the left end. As you can see, we have now come to know the same position from two different ends of the row. That is, this particular position is 22nd from the left end and 12th from the right end. As we have discussed in model 1, when we know the position from two different ends, we can find out the total number of persons as L plus R minus 1, where L is the position from the left end, R is position from the right end. So by taking that point, we can say that the total number of persons here should be the position from left end, that is 22, plus the position from the right end, which is 12 minus 1. So 22 plus 12 is 34 minus 1, that is 33. So we can say that the total number of persons in this row is 33. Let us now understand the various types of inequalities which are required to solve questions from ordering. For example, let us assume that we are comparing the heights of two persons A and B, and the statement says A is neither taller than nor equal to B. So we can understand that A is shorter than B or A is less than B. Similarly, suppose the given statement is A is neither shorter than nor equal to B. So we can say that A is taller than B or A is greater than B. A is neither taller nor shorter than B. From this, we can understand that A is as tall as B or A is equal to B, because A is neither taller nor shorter than B. Moving on to the next one, the statement says A is not taller than B. When he says A is not taller than B, there are two possible cases. A can be shorter than B, or A can be as tall as B. That is, A is equal to B. So we can say that A is shorter than or equal to B. That is, A less than or equal to B. Similarly, the statement can be A is not shorter than B. So when A is not shorter than B, he can be taller or equal to B. That is, A greater than or equal to B. Moving on to the next one here, A is as tall as B. Remember, the phrase as tall as or as heavy as, when we are comparing weight, means A is same as B. So we can say that A is equal to B. And the last one here is A is not as tall as B. Very important, when he says A is not as tall as B, understand that A is only shorter than B. Apart from the inequalities that we have just discussed, the other important point which we need to understand to solve questions from ordering is the keyword only. Whenever the word only is given in a statement, whenever the word only is there in a given statement, it has a different meaning. Let's take an example. Let's say the given statement is A is shorter than B. So here we can understand that A is less than B. A is shorter than B. But now you look at the second statement. A is shorter than only B. Now when the word only is present in the given statement, it means that A is shorter than B, but at the same time, the other important point which we need to understand here is B is the tallest person in their group. B is the tallest person in the group. For example, let's say there are 5 persons A, B, C, D and E in a group where A is shorter than only B. That means the remaining 3 persons C, D and E are shorter than A, which clearly indicates that B is the tallest person. And we can also say that A is the second tallest person. In a similar manner, when he says A is taller than B, it has a direct meaning saying that A is taller than B. But in case the word only is used, saying A is taller than only B, we can understand that A is greater than B, but then B is the shortest person in the group and A is the second shortest person in the group. To understand this statement, let us say that there are 5 persons A, B, C, D and E in the group. The statement says A is taller than only B. That means A is not taller than the remaining 3 persons C, D and E, which means the persons C, D and E are taller than A. So it clearly means B is the shortest person in the group and A is the second shortest. So friends, from these examples, try to understand that the sentence A is shorter than B is different from the sentence A is shorter than only B. Let us now take an example based on the inequalities and the keyword only that we have just learned. The question here is, among B, F, J, K and W, each having a different weight, F is heavier than only J. B is heavier than F and W, but not as heavy as K. Who among them is second heaviest? So here we are supposed to arrange the given 5 persons based on their weight and find out who among them is the second heaviest person. Now based on the inequalities and the keyword only that we have just learned, let us try to make an ascending order of these persons based on their weight. So the first statement here is, among B, F, J, K and W, each has a different weight. That means no 2 persons are equal in weight. Moving on to the next point, it says F is heavier than only J. So as already discussed, when the given statement says F is heavier than only J, we can understand that F is greater than J and J is the lightest person. And we can say that F is the second lightest person. The next statement says B is heavier than F and W. That means B is greater than F and W, but not as heavy as K. That means B is not as heavy as K. When B is not as heavy as K, we can say that B is lighter than K. So we say B is less than K. And from this we have to find out who among them is second heaviest. So arranging the given 5 persons in ascending order, we can say that the lightest person in the group is J. And we also know that the second lightest person is F. So we can say that J is less than F. And then we know that B is greater than F and W. So we can say F and W are shorter than F and W are lighter than B. And as already F is second lightest, we can say that W should be heavier than F and then B should be heavier than W. And from the last point, we know that B is lighter than K. So including that in the order, we get B is lighter than K. So now the ascending order in terms of weight for these 5 persons is J lesser than F, J lighter than F, lighter than W, lighter than B, lighter than K. So very clearly J is the lightest person and K is the heaviest person. We can say that J is the lightest person and K here is the heaviest person. And the question is, who among them is second heaviest? So to find out the second heaviest person, we need to come from the heaviest side. So we can say that the second heaviest person in this group is B. So the answer is B. Similarly, suppose we need who among these persons is second lightest. So we need to come from the lighter side and we can say that the person F is second lightest in this group. So friends, this is how we can solve questions based on ordering by either forming an ascending order or descending order of the given group of persons. Let us now take another example from ordering where we have to find out the tallest or the shortest person among the given group, or the heaviest or the lightest person in the group. That is, here we are trying to find out the extreme ends of the group. Let's take an example. The question here is, Rohan is taller than Anand but shorter than Seema. Krishna is taller than Pushpa but shorter than Anand. Dheeraj is taller than Krishna but shorter than Seema. And we need to know who among them is tallest. To solve this question and find out the tallest person in the group, we need to make the ascending order or the descending order of the heights of these persons. And that can be done simply by reading out the statements. Now if you look at the first statement, it says Rohan is taller than Anand. So we can say R greater than A, but shorter than Seema. That means Rohan is taller than Anand but Rohan is shorter than Seema. Now when Rohan is shorter than Seema, we can say that Seema is taller than Rohan, and that can be integrated into this statement as Seema is taller than Rohan. Moving on to the second statement, it says Krishna is taller than Pushpa, but here we neither have Krishna or Pushpa in our equation. So let us simply understand that Krishna is taller than Pushpa but shorter than Anand. That means Krishna is shorter than Anand. Now integrating this part into this statement, we can say that Krishna is shorter than Anand. That means Anand is taller than Krishna. So Anand is taller than Krishna can be integrated as shown. So now the statement becomes Seema is taller than Rohan, Rohan is taller than Anand, Anand is taller than Krishna, and Krishna is taller than Pushpa. Moving on to the last statement, it says Dheeraj is taller than Krishna but shorter than Seema. That means Dheeraj is taller than Krishna and shorter than Seema. So Dheeraj is shorter than Seema. So very clearly Dheeraj is a person who comes in between Krishna and Seema. Dheeraj should come in between Krishna and Seema, and we can see that Seema and Krishna are in these positions. So Dheeraj can come anywhere in between Krishna and Seema, and no way Dheeraj can be the tallest person. So from this statement now we can understand that Seema is taller than Rohan, is taller than Anand, is taller than Krishna, is taller than Pushpa, and Dheeraj is a person who is in between Seema and Krishna. So very clearly the tallest person in this group is going to be Seema. So we can say that the tallest person is Seema, and the shortest person in the group is Pushpa. So Seema is the tallest person and Pushpa is the shortest person. But friends, you being a banker's choice student and having got the banker's choice advantage, we cannot afford to spend so much time for such a simple problem. If you try to be smart, the same question can be solved within 5 to 10 seconds simply by finding out the wrong answers. Let's understand how to solve this question in a smarter way. We know that we have to find out the tallest person in the group. So very clearly a person who is shorter to some other person cannot be the answer. Now keeping this point in mind, let us find out who cannot be the tallest person. If you look at the first statement, it says Rohan is taller than Anand. When Rohan is taller than Anand, it is obvious that Anand is shorter than Rohan. And when Anand is shorter than Rohan, he cannot be the tallest person. Moving on to the next part, it says Rohan is taller than Anand but shorter than Seema. That means Rohan is shorter than Seema. And when Rohan is shorter than Seema, Rohan cannot be the tallest person. So even Rohan gets eliminated. Now from the next statement, Krishna is taller than Pushpa. When Krishna is taller than Pushpa, we understand that Pushpa is shorter than Krishna. And when Pushpa is shorter than Krishna, Pushpa cannot be the tallest person in the group. And similarly, continuing with the remaining part, we know that Krishna is taller than Pushpa but shorter than Anand. That means Krishna is shorter than Anand. When Krishna is shorter than Anand, Krishna cannot be the tallest person. So even Krishna gets eliminated. And from the last statement, we know that Dheeraj is taller than Krishna but shorter than Seema. As Krishna has already got eliminated, let us directly compare Dheeraj with Seema. We know that Dheeraj is shorter than Seema. When Dheeraj is shorter than Seema, Dheeraj cannot be the tallest person. So even Dheeraj gets eliminated. And now from the 6 persons, we have eliminated the 5 persons who cannot be tallest. That is Rohan, Anand, Krishna, Pushpa and Dheeraj. So the only left out person here is Seema. So we can say that Seema is the tallest person in the group. If you compare, the answer in this method also was Seema. That Seema is tallest in the group. So that is how we can differentiate ourselves from others in solving such simple questions without wasting a lot of time in this method. So friends, try to be smart and get the answers in a simple way. See you in the next session. Thank you.